Tracy, and what I want to do is start you off with this short video that just will give you an idea of what we have going on at the library, and then I will pick up and give you much more information. So go ahead and get that started for you. All right. So once again, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us here to learn more about what is happening at Tri-Cities Library. My name is Vicki Cece, and I'm one of the librarians who are usually working at the Western Campus Library. I am in my kitchen today, and I hope you are all well. Before we go on, I want to introduce to you my colleague, Professor Peter Jennings, who will serve as our moderator. Hi, Pete.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks for joining us today. Thanks. Please know that Pete will be here to help out with questions along the way. And if you are here and you have a question, please feel free to type your question in the chat box as we go along. So let's go ahead and get started. So right now, and until we are told that we can all be together in person again, I and all the rest of the librarians at Tri-C want you to know that we are with you online. So even though you can't walk through the doors of any of the campus libraries, you can get in touch with us multiple ways. We are with you, and we can help you get what you need to do your research, just like when we are together in person. So this is our agenda for this afternoon. We're going to talk about the library services that are not available. It's not a huge list. The other services that we do have available to you now. We'll also do a little housekeeping about library materials, due dates, returns, things like that. And then we'll have some time for a question and answer session. So without further ado, I am going to take you out to the Tri-C Library homepage. And what we normally do is we could type, and I will show you, you can type www.tri-c.edu/library. Whoops. Library. It helps if you spell it right to get there. And
so I believe in your screen sharing, you might only be sharing the PowerPoint.
All right, let me get on that.
So you would want to click, yep. Oh, why am I telling you? You're the experts. You
oh, really? And you can see the library homepage now?
Yep, okay. All good.
Okay, so as I said, www.tri-c.edu/library will get you there, okay? So I want you to know that. All right, so what I want to talk to you about first, as I said, was what's not available. And then I wanted this in the background to just let you see all the things that are. So the physical space that is the library, the tables and chairs, the elevator, the quiet study, okay, for now, it's not something you can use. Hopefully it will be soon. Books, periodicals, print materials, unfortunately, that does include reserves for courses, so your textbook reserves that you would normally use. Unfortunately, there's just no way we can get those to you at this moment. And also things like if you're used to requesting items through OhioLink or Search Ohio or getting things through Interlibrary Loan, again, not available at the moment. But the good news is what is available right now, and we have many things, and I will share a lot of that with you today. So we have reference, we still have many, many resources, and instruction, library instruction is still available. So we're at the library's homepage, and as I've shown you, that's one way to get to the homepage. I want you to know that if you ever just go out to Google, like I'm doing right now, and you search for Tri-C Library, there's a really pretty good chance that it will be the first thing that shows up on your homepage. So there's no reason you have to know a URL to get to this page. Okay, so don't worry about that. So first thing I want to tell you about is reference. So reference, that's us interacting with you, providing help with any kind of research or information that you need, helping you find materials, articles, websites, videos, whatever you might need. If you need help with citations for any papers or speeches or any research assignments you have to do. So what I want to show you is on this page right here, we have, as you see, library virtual chat and references available. And it shows you here the hours of the library. And this is when there's always a librarian on duty. So Monday through Thursday from 8 to 8, Friday and Saturday from 9 to 2. So these buttons right here will take you to very much of those, all those things, the virtual methods of getting in touch with a librarian. So we're going to just take a little walk and we're going to click the chat with a librarian button. This takes you to a research guide, and we're going to look at those much more closely in a little while. On this page, you will see on the left a button, and this is a thing that's going to come up as you're in a research guide. We're always, if somebody's on duty, you're going to get the option to get some help. So that will come up. This kind of just shows you the schedule of which librarians are on duty. It doesn't matter. You can talk to any one of us. We're all more than happy to help you with anything that you need help with. So what you'll do is you will click this button that says chat with us, and it will come up and it will give you this box where you can type in your name. But as you see, it says blank equals anonymous. So if you don't want to tell us what your name is, you don't have to. You can go in here and type your email address, and that'll just be something that we have going forward so that we can get back to you if something happens, get cut off or something strange, which actually I've not heard of any of that. So but again, this is all optional. You don't have to fill that in. And then you'd click Start Chat. And then what happens is this box shows up and it tells you, hang in there, a librarian is coming. And when the librarian shows up, they will connect and say hello. Oh, there we go. Dan Overfield has joined the chat, and we can see what Dan has to say. It looks like he's typing. Oh, there you go. So we'll just say, hi, Dan. Thanks for saying hello. And we'll submit that. And we'll let him go on with his work. But that's what happens. So a librarian will come online and they will work with you with whatever you need. Okay, so there's Dan, and we'll talk to him more later. Okay, we'll shut that down. I'm going to go back to the home page of the library, and I've left it right here. So let me go back. Right here, I've also got a button that says call a librarian. And if I click that, it takes me, again, this is inside of Research Guide, which we will spend more time in later. This is a little tricky because it does tell you the schedule of Monday through Saturday, and it's got all those hours that someone is on duty. And so normally Pete and myself and the other Western Campus librarians, Paula and Colleen, we are at the library and everybody calls us on the same phone number, right? You call the reference desk. Well, right now, our reference desk is, you know, there's one in Strongsville, you might have a couple in Lakewood, we're all over the place, right? And so we each have our own phone number. So what you have to do, if you need one of us, look at the day of the week, look at the time. So for right now, it's Wednesday and it's between 2 and 3, and I can see that Ashley is the person who's on phone reference. And I would call her phone number, and that's how I'd get in touch with the librarian on the phone, okay? These link to the email address of any of the librarians. So if you wanted to email instead, it's going to pop open a mailbox for you if you've got your mail open. Oops, let me get out of there. But this is another way you can get in touch with us. Again, that is the same hours, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 8, and Friday and Saturday from 9 to 2. So it's just following that grid to find out who's on duty at any given time. Okay. So one more time, popping back out to the library homepage, which again was tri-c.edu/library, or again, as I said, if you just search Google for Tri-C Library, it'll get you here. So another way to get in touch with a librarian is email the librarian. If you click this button, you're going to get to a form online that you can fill in. Now, some fields are required. We're going to want your name and your email address. You'll put something in here about what's the course that you were taking. You know, is it speech 1010? Is it English 1020? Whatever it is, you'll put that in here. And then, let's see, I need resources for speech. Okay, and then you'll say, what are the types of things I need? I need some ebooks, maybe I need some articles. Choose your campus that you live at, you know, your normal home campus. And then some more detail about what you're looking for. Hey, my topic is, let's see, assisted suicide. Can you help me? I can't type today, for goodness sake, right? And then I would choose my affiliation that I am a student, if I were a student, and you could type in what your program is. You do this robot thing, prove that you know where the stoplights are on the pictures, you know, that's what they usually ask me for. And then you'd submit it. What happens is this email goes to Megan Fowler, who's one of the librarians who works at the Metro campus. She will get back to you in 24 to 48 hours. And this is especially helpful if you are in the middle of the night working and you're like, gosh, in the morning, I will not remember what I'm doing. Send her that message and, you know, hopefully within the next, as it says, within the next day or two, you'll get a response. And whatever your brainstorm that you had in the middle of the night, whether or not you've still got a brainstorm, you will be able to find out whatever it is you needed. Okay. So that is what happens when you choose email a librarian. Let me go back one more time to the home page. So the final thing that we have over here for this virtual reference is a schedule an appointment with the librarian button right here. So let me show you what happens when you click that button. This is a little bit of a new thing. This lets you schedule an appointment with one of us. Now, when you get to this page, the first thing it says is select a staff member, but actually you can drop down a box here and choose a time frame. So if you have like a really quick question and you don't think you're going to need a lot of time, you can go in here and say, hey, I just need 15 minutes. Or maybe you need a lot of resources and you feel like this is going to take some time. I better ask for 45. Now listen, we will not hold you to that. If you need less time, we'll let you go when you're done. If you need more time, we'll stick with you until everything is done. So don't worry about picking the perfect amount of time. And then as you go through, you will see all the librarians listed here. If you know one of us and you have a preference, say you've worked with Megan or you've worked with Nancy, whoever it is, pick somebody in this list. And then what you'll do is you'll pick the day that you want to meet and you'll pick a time. Okay. Then what'll happen is you'll click this continue button. And from here, this is where we ask for your details. So you'll give us your name and your email address. We do not have to have your S number, your telephone number. We don't have to have those. Those are optional. And you just tell us who you are, whether you're a student or staff, whatever your situation is, which method you want to use for their meeting. We can meet you by WebEx. We can meet you by phone. We can have an online chat. Pick one of those. What are the things you need help with? And if you have something more specific you want to tell us, or if whatever you need is not listed here, fill that in. If you got an assignment that you're working on, let us know. And if you could, if you have gone ahead and downloaded an assignment that your professor put up on Blackboard, feel free to click here and upload that file. And then what we can do is before we meet with you, we'll take a look at that assignment and we'll have a better idea of what you need. You don't have to, but you can. And then you'll just click the button that says confirm appointment and you'll be all set. We do set, you will get a confirmation email and we'll be so happy. We'll be waiting for you, and whichever method you choose is fine. That's how that works. So let me go back to the library homepage here. So I think we've covered all the different methods to get reference assistance. And they are on this page, and further down the line, I'll show you a research guide that will also show you how to get to those different options. So now that we've covered reference, I want to talk to you about the resources that are available to you. And we're back at the library homepage. I want you to look at, on this page, the button that we always send students to. If you were in front of me at Tri-C Western Campus, I would always direct you first to a research guide. We always want you to start at the research guides. So again, you just scroll down the page a little bit, look for this box that says research guides, and you click that. Okay, this is the library's research guides homepage. All right, it's got 2 columns, and the guides are listed in alphabetical order in these 2 columns. There is at least 1 guide for any subject on this page, and it covers pretty much anything you can take at Tri-C. Okay, there's, as I said, at least 1 for each subject. So let's go ahead and just take a look. For example, if I click biology, you can see this number 3 tells you there's 3 guides for that subject. Okay, if I go to business, it says 6. There are 6 guides under business. All right. And so generally what we ask that you do is, if you are in a class, always choose the first guide. That'll be the general guide for that subject. Now, once in a while, you have a class very specific to a professor. They might have particular assignments that they've worked with a librarian and they've created a special guide. So if your professor or a librarian tells you, hey, you know what, you really need to use this guide, then you can use that guide. But in general, always start with that first one that's listed for your subject. Okay, so let's just take a look at one. I'm going to go in here to where we have, let's take the marketing guide. Let me click on that and just kind of show you around the research guide. Now this is what they generally look like. It's kind of a web page that just gathers the resources that we recommend that you use when you are doing research for the subject. Okay, this happens to be one that my friend Professor Jennings, who is moderating today, has created this guide. And as you will see, there's various tabs on the guide, kind of get you through different kinds of information. There's different tools available. We can get you to the Tri-C Library catalog. If you're interested in electronic books, there's links to Overdrive. And here, everyone will have databases listed that you can use to find articles. Okay. A lot of the guides have now got a separate tab for electronic resources like ebooks. And so he's got several electronic books that are available to you listed on this guide. And we've tried really hard to make sure that we share with you as much information as we can about what sort of things we have electronically. Now, keep in mind that just because we have this number on a guide, that does not mean that it's the only thing we have, right? And so if you go looking and you're having trouble finding something that's what you want, that's when it's really important to get in touch with us. So what you will see is that on every guide, there's going to be a box for the librarian who's worked on that guide, and they'll have an email button, an appointment button, ways you can get in touch with them. Let's go back. Let me show you here. I'm going to go back. These are breadcrumbs here, and if I just choose research guides one more time, I'm right back on that research guide homepage. Okay, and so I could go in and choose another guide. Let me just randomly. It's actually one I've been working on lately myself, even though math, well, we're not going to talk about math. But what you'll find is every one of these guides somewhere has a box for your librarian, so you can get in touch with them. Another thing about every guide is, at least on the very first page, it's going to have a box at the bottom with Ask a Librarian as its title that gives you links to the email form and to another place where you can get the info on getting in touch with us. So know that that is there. One more time, back to research guides. Let me see. Show you some other ones. Let's just go down a little ways. Here's a psychology guide. Let's look at that. So what we do is we do kind of group information. So finding articles, we give you different databases to choose from to search for articles. And we give you some journals that are in that area when we have some to share with you. Here's the Finding Books tab that gives us some print and some online electronic books that you can get to. And you can see that these are lots of different ebooks. There's a websites tab. Most of them will have a websites tab. And what you'll find on that that's very helpful is if you are allowed to use websites for your resources of whatever assignment you have, we give you a box to search Google. And we also give you some tips on searching Google. This is stuff that we would teach you about if we had a session and taught your class. And all the guides also have help and cite your sources. This is a box that gives you some citation information that you can go and look at if you need help with APA style or MLA style, Chicago style, whatever you need, some help from tutoring and writing center, things like that. And this really nice handy guide about plagiarism, you can get to all sorts of info about plagiarism. We're really want to share that with you so you are aware of what you should not do and what you should do when it comes to your sources and citing information. So let me go again one more time back to that research guide link. There's one guide I want to share with you before we move on to our next our next agenda item. When you see this yellow at the top, and it says current library services right here. And you'll also see it right here, current library services during COVID-19. We can get to this guide more than one way. I'm going to click on that link. So we were actually in this guide once or twice when I showed you some other things. I don't know if it looks familiar. On the very first page, we do give you some info about Wi-Fi hotspot locators. You know, if you are in a position where once in a while you need some help with getting a free Wi-Fi to get some work done, this will help you to figure out where to go. We've always tried to give you a link for the coronavirus info that is available from the school. Just, you know, overview info, some frequently asked questions are on this page. When you go to this next tab, you see it says book returns. Now, up until, I'd say maybe about a week or so ago, we were not able to take books back. But if you look closely, what's happened is that we can now accept returns. And it tells you where to go, regardless of which campus you are interested in returning your book to. The thing you need to know, though, unfortunately, is that we're a little limited on staff back at the ranch. And so it may not be, whatever you bring back may not get checked in immediately. So if you go back out online and you see that your account shows that your book hasn't been checked in, don't get alarmed. Give us a call and or contact us by chat, and we can help you out and just double check what's going on. But it may take a little patience because it will take a little while to get things checked in. Keep in mind also that right now, and I don't know if it's here, we are currently, most items should show a October 2nd due date. October 2nd? No, it's October 1st, isn't it? Pete's probably saying, no, Vicki, it's the 1st. Okay, so you shouldn't have to be concerned. Don't feel like you have to run to school and bring all your stuff back, but know that if you really want to, you can. All right, and let me just show you a few more things. Back here on that phone and email, remember we looked at this earlier, gives you that list of who's on the phone when. And this is an important tab if you want to call us, okay? So don't forget, we had, this is where the link from the home page took you, is to this guide. Again, this is chat reference. This does tell you who's online, who's on when, but it doesn't matter. You'll just talk to whoever is available by clicking chat. And this will pop up. If you need help and someone's on duty, it will give you the opportunity to jump right on into chat. So let me go ahead and say no thanks for now. Okay, I want to show you the other bits and pieces of this guide before we move on. We do have some how-to videos, how to use certain tools. If you find that you need to use Academic Search Complete and no one ever told you how, please come here and take a look. We've managed to track down some videos. We've created some, and we've found some available from the different folks who create and produce these databases. So come to this page if you want to take a look at a video of how to do some very basic library research. We also have a tab that is titled How-To Documents. If you are not in the market to watch a video and you just want steps on how to get something done, feel free to come on in and take a look at what is here. We have lots of different documents online that you can look at, and they will get you some assistance to use many of the resources. Finally, we do have a tab on this guide for different free resources that have been made available. Some have been made available by different publishers in different places during the COVID-19 crisis. And as such, there are probably a few that are going to be going away around the end of this month. It is possible that some of them will continue. So you may find a lot of things that you can use here. Take a look. There are some that it says always available, so these are not going to go away, these tools that you can use. But if you have trouble, need help with any of it, just feel free to contact us. So that is what I wanted to show you when it comes to the research guides. So hopefully I've covered that well enough for you there. I'm going to go back to the library homepage, and I'm going to chatter for a little while about instruction, library instruction. If you have ever had a class that came to the library and we had some librarian talk to you about how to use different resources, then you know what I mean when I say library instruction. If you're a new student or you've just never had that experience, what happens is that often when a class or course has a research assignment, the professor will make a plan for one of us to come visit and or bring you to us. And unfortunately, because we are in this situation right now, we can't be there with you in person. However, we will set up virtual sessions with your class if your professor asks us to. We are more than happy to do so. And we can also create and make available, if we already have them, videos with instruction already ready to go for you. So the thing I'm trying to say is that if you have a class and you're looking at your syllabus and you see that you're going to be required to do research, and it says you got to find articles, you've got to create an annotated bibliography, you've got to write a report, whatever it is, write a speech, and you need to do things where you find resources, cite resources, and you do not see something on your syllabus that says, hey, a librarian's going to join us on a day, or we have a video that the librarians created, go ahead and say to your professor, hey, can we do something? Can you get the librarians involved? And if not, that's okay. Just contact us. We've got lots of different ways to get in touch with us. So feel free. In addition to the we can come to your class kind of thing, we also can be embedded in your class through Blackboard. And what that means is that we are somebody who are added on with a discussion board. And so anytime you run into a library question, you can go out to that discussion board, put your question in, and your librarian who's embedded in that Blackboard class will come along and answer your question. So that's another thing that we can do. All right. And then remember when I showed you on that COVID guide, which is also called Current Library Services Guide, and there's another place to link to it right here on this page. See this thing? That does have videos and how-to documents. And you can click that and I'll go back in there one more time. So right here, the how-to videos and the how-to documents, right? And if none of those cover what you need, we are more than happy to create new ones that are things that you need for your class. So again, if you don't see what you need, let us know. If you don't see that you have a session set up with your whole class, feel free to set one up all by yourself. We are so happy to work with you one-on-one, never a problem. So let's see, we did actually, I think I skipped my agenda item or shifted it because we were going to talk about returning materials, and I think I already did that. Let me go right back to my tab where it said book returns. Okay, so returning materials, your fines are being waived if they show that they are already due. The due dates should be shifted to October the 1st. If you find that something strange is going on, let us know. Okay. So I think that was the book return item and the housekeeping about library materials. So let me see. We want to get back to here and just show you my final thing is that, oh, sorry, went too fast, is my Q&A. Do we have anything that anybody had a question about that we need to cover, or if anyone is there and wants to ask a question?
Hey there, thank you. We're monitoring the chat right now, and we do not see any questions, hand raising. So it looks like you're all good.
Okay.
You on, and we'll let you know if anybody does raise their hand, but everything's going great.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. All right. So I will just move to, this is actually my final slide that says, thank you for your time. Get in touch with us, please, for anything at all that you need. Remember that your Tri-C Library and your librarians are with you online. So if there's anything at all that you need from us, we are more than happy to help. Seems like it's a little early, but have you got anything to add, Pete?
No, I think you covered it very well.
Thank you. Thank you.
I thought this session was informational and helpful because we get a lot of questions, especially when we text students about these services and how do we go about it. So not only was it helpful for our students who watch us in the future, it was helpful for myself.
Good.
It was very good.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. If there is no one here who has questions right this instant, that is okay. But I know sometimes if you're like me, you leave the session and 5 seconds later you have a question you wish you would have asked. Please don't hesitate to reach out. You can email any of us. A lot of students text us directly. So if you text us and we can't answer your question based on the session today, we'll connect you with someone who can.
Right. And I can actually show you real fast now that I thought of it, that our library staff directory does list everybody, every librarian. And if you mouse over, our email addresses are there as well. So that's another way to get all of us via email. Okay, I just wanted to add that.
No, that's great. That's great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. And thanks for attending this session and have a great day.
Thank you.